Bill Murray on the set of Ghostbusters 3, new details from Dan Aykroyd about the original cast, and Jason Reitman gives us an unexpected twist on what to expect in the new movie. Stick around as we recap all the news from Ghostbusters 3 from September 2019. Hey, this is Matthew, and welcome to Nerd News Today's ongoing coverage of all the news about Ghostbusters 3. This time, we're taking a look at what happened in September, as filming continued in Canada, and some big news, as well as some little tidbits, dropped all over the place. Before we dive in, we have to make a quick note about one important thing we actually missed last month. Some on-set photos appeared, including some in our video last time, that featured some familiar Ghostbusters iconography. That of Ivo, Shandor, and Gozer, meaning there may be some ties to the original 1984 film that go deeper than we first thought. This makes me extremely excited and even more curious about the plot, since we're getting not just a callback, but a potential return of a very big baddie in the Ghostbusters universe. So let's jump into September, which kicked off with an Instagram post from Jason Reitman. This time around, it was an image of a camera plot of a scene in progress. Of course, we can't really tell what this scene is, although there is some speculation that the design reminds many people of the rooftop fight against Gozer in the first movie. With the connection we just mentioned earlier, there's definitely some credence to that idea, but for now, it's just a drawing until we see the movie. On September 12th, Dan Aykroyd appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast to talk about all sorts of things, and one of them was discussing the upcoming movie.
I'm not in the picture so much anymore. We've got the Ghostbusters movie that we're working on now, and I will have to be performing in that. But
what is the deal with the new Ghostbusters movie?
It's really good.
Dan said some of the originals would be appearing in it along with the new younger cast.
Now Ivan Reitman's son Jason has written a new movie called it's going to be Ghostbusters, the third movie that
Who's
directly
in that
links.
now?
Well, it'll be most of the original people, and then
The original
young
from
stars.
the first movie?
Yes, some from the original.
Bill
and
Murray's going to be in it?
We're hoping.
Come on, Bill.
Yeah, we're hoping.
Come on, Bill.
Yeah.
He also talked about some of his personal paranormal experiences, so it's worth a listen if you have some time just to hear Dan talk about that. September 13th saw this interview with Dan and Ivan Reitman, courtesy of the Associated Press.
I think it's a wonderful story that people seem to have continued to be interested in 35 years after we came out with the first one. And I think we're trying to expand it a little bit, and I think Jason's movie does that.
Well, we really need to hand it to a new generation, and we didn't do that. And although the girls' movie was, effectively kept the concept and the ideas alive, and it was really good. They were great in it. It wasn't like giving it to the new generation, the actual descendants of the original Ghostbusters. So we're going to link to the DNA, old and new there.
This and some other interviews we're about to show you took place during the opening of Universal Studios' Halloween Horror Nights, which also includes a new Ghostbusters attraction this year. In this clip from Entertainment Tonight, Ivan dropped some new info about Paul Rudd's character, which helps fill in some of the blanks about him.
Well, he's a seismologist who's come to this small town because they've been having mysterious earthquakes. He's also teaching summer school there. And he's extraordinarily funny.
Dan, in particular, spoke with a few other media outlets and gave a few quotes about the movie, like this one here with Pacific Rim Video.
We're taking the DNA of the first two movies and transferring to the third movie in a really concrete way that the audience is going to love.
September 17th saw an odd repeat of a piece of news from last month, in fact, but we'll mention it again here real quickly just because it came up again. For some reason, many news outlets suddenly picked up the cameo video that Ernie Hudson shot in August for A Very Lucky Birthday Boy, where Ernie talked about being in Ghostbusters 3.
We're shooting the new Ghostbusters right now, coming out next summer, so I'm hoping that you'll enjoy it as much as the other movies that we've done. I know that I'm having a blast doing them.
It's safe to say Hudson will be in the new movie. Last month I was skeptical about it, and skeptical more because this wasn't a flat-out announcement saying I am in it, or just kind of a very soft going around about saying it. But I'm just going to go out on a limb here, since everybody else is, and say Winston's going to be in the new movie, so hooray for that. And when someone asks you're a god,
You say yes!
On September 18th, we got another follow-up to a story we looked at last month. In August, we saw that the Ecto 1 had a chair that popped out of the side of it, allowing someone to sit on this chair and zap ghosts with a proton gun attached to it. This month, we have a much better look at that chair, and we get a much clearer image of McKenna Grace in the hot seat, looking a lot like a relative of Egon Spengler. If you look inside the car, you can also see Logan Kim using the Ecto goggles. We previously saw Finn Wolfhard driving the Ectomobile last month as well, so it looks like this is going to be the kid's first taste of busting some spooks. On September 21st, 3C Films dropped a video that a fan of his sent in, showing Bill Murray having dinner with some of the cast of Ghostbusters in a hotel in Calgary. Bill could have just been visiting his friends, but that seems highly unlikely to go all the way out to Calgary just for that. Perhaps they are keeping his return a secret, since he was such a huge part of why Ghostbusters 3 didn't happen 20 years sooner. Either way, he was there on that night, so let's hope that there's at least a cameo in the new film with Bill Murray, returning as Peter Venkman. On September 22nd, Jason Reitman spoke during a talk at the Calgary International Film Festival, and spoke about the legacy of Ghostbusters and how he wants to make his dad proud. He also gave us an interesting quote about the outlook of the new movie, which really came as a big surprise. Jason said, "I like making movies about unlikable characters. It's not something I set out to do, it's only upon looking back that I realized what I like to do is try to give the audience the most unlikable character possible and try and find the way in and try and find the humanity." I will say that the Ghostbusters movie is about forgiveness, and in that way, I think it falls really in line with the rest. We'll come back to that quote in a few moments though, but it is a very interesting and unique approach to the franchise for sure, something I think that none of us were expecting to hear. On September 23rd, we got another Instagram post from Jason Reitman, and this one's a doozy. Jason posted a pic of Tobin's Spirit Guide, and this is essentially the first canonical look at the book. Sure, we heard it mentioned in the first movie and referenced plenty of times in the cartoons, where it might have actually been shown once or twice, but it was never really shown in the movies before, and the cartoons are not exactly canonical. It looks really awesome, like a classier version of the Necronomicon, if such a thing could actually exist. When they start releasing GB3 merch next year, I hope they make some journals or some books with this design because I want one bad. On September 28th, morning radio host Howie Nave from KRLT 93.9 in Lake Tahoe spoke with Dan Aykroyd. And during their interview, Howie claims that Aykroyd told him Ghostbusters 3 is the official title of the film. Now, no audio of the show has been uploaded online anywhere yet, and it may be long gone at this point since it was a live show. But like most stories we pick up, let's treat this with a grain of salt. At this point, this is the second time we heard it officially referred to as that, but I wonder if the movie will have a subtitle to it as well that is still in development. Finally, two bits of news happened on September 30th. First, we have a third Instagram post from Jason this month, showing his crew doing some night shooting in a department store and playing with some Nerf guns. One very observant fan online noted that the gun Jason was using was a Walmart exclusive, meaning that they were filming in a Walmart for this particular shoot. What they are filming is up for debate, of course, but it's safe to assume this scene is really just going to be some pretty blatant product placement. And considering how Walmart has had Ghostbusters exclusives for the past few years, including the recent WWE Ghostbusters figures that we just reviewed, methinks 2020 will be no different in that regard. If that is true, though, it makes me very sad, because my Walmarts around here are terrible, so if anybody out there has got a good one near them and can pick me up some Ghostbusters toys, you just let me know next year. The bigger news to come out of that day was a discovery from a YouTuber about a Reddit post that potentially spoils the entire plot of the new movie. This video series here is about news and discoveries of things on set, and while we do have potential spoilers aplenty in these videos, I'm actually a little hesitant to run down everything that was said in that Reddit post. More so because the source is completely unknown. The summary gives us a lot of info about where the original characters are in their lives now, as well as what the new ones are doing, and where the movie goes. So I will say, if you want to know more about this theory, you can look it up on YouTube to hear every detail about the supposed plot. As for me, despite doing these news videos, I'm trying not to go too deep into getting major spoilers like that, and I kind of like just piecing things together. So we're not going to discuss it here again like I mentioned, but it is out there and not that hard to find if you want to look for it. But again, at the end of the day, whether it's real or not, we're still going to have to wait another year before we find out what the truth actually is about Ghostbusters 3. So that's all the GB3 news for September 2019, but like always, if we missed something, let us know in the comments. While you're there, how about giving this video a like and subscribing to our channel for more updates like this, along with all the other videos we make on this channel. I'm Matthew from Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in 31 days for all the news about Ghostbusters 3 from October 2019.